up, chumps? Just kidding, just fooling around.
Gotta knock these bozos' wieners off.
Hark, some sort of beast has entered our boat. Data, for the love of God! Turn away or stop!
From the Great North to Wonder Wharf. All right.
Hey everybody, welcome to another segment of From the Great North to Wonder Wharf. Today we are going to be discussing the Comic-Con panel for 2021 for the Great North. And of course, I'm JB.
I am Mike.
So let's jump into this. This was a long panel.
Yeah,
I think longer than Bob's.
Yeah, no, I think it was a shade under an hour.
It's like 58-ish minutes or something.
Yeah. And it didn't feel that long, actually.
No,
was very
it didn't.
entertaining.
I definitely want to bring up congrats and kudos to the Molyneux sisters. They did a really good job doing it, kind of moderating the panel.
Yeah,
they had good questions, and it was just it just felt like it went by.
Yeah, I liked it a lot better because Duncanville had like somebody from Vanity Fair or Vogue or someone moderating their panel. But for all the panels that we saw today, they were done by the creators or writers or something like that. So I really enjoyed that change of pace. And I wish Duncanville would have did that. It would have been nice.
Yeah, we can always discuss who we wished had done that. But Bradley probably would have been my choice. So let's jump into this. So with the Great North, it was the longest of the panels, but I found it to be the most informative. There was a lot of good conversation, a lot of talking about just like what it was like to make this show during, of course, the pandemic, because they were talking about how they were basically mid-season and had to just jump right over and start doing this. And but they talked about like how they made it work. They joked about sound panels, like how they made their own soundproofing, which I thought was pretty hysterical. Nick Offerman joked that he could only use 38 rooms in his mansion in the hills.
Yeah,
hard for him.
Yeah, I liked it because it was their first Comic-Con panel, but they had a good balance of fluff, talking about like how you like playing your character in X, Y, and Z, but also new information coming up for their season 2. So it was a good balance between the two, and that's what I really dug. Whereas a panel like Duncanville or Housebroken really relied on a lot of fluff. And, I mean, it was obvious for something like Housebroken because it's their first season and they don't really have anything to talk about because we don't know about a season 2. But the Great North here, they dropped a lot of information. They got guests coming out. They talked about the season 2 premiere, which is apparently a full-blown musical
Full-blown musical.
Yeah, we got a little clip from that, actually. And it seems like the running story, at least the A story, is Judy going to the dentist, and we can only assume getting her braces.
I think braces are coming off.
Yeah, because and apparently the dentist is like her favorite place in the world, which is, I mean, I hate dentists. Yeah, I hate them. Sorry, dentists out there, but not for me.
Nope.
And one thing that I found interesting is they actually had a Halloween episode for season 1 that they pulled and moved to season 2.
Yep. I thought that was interesting too. They said they're so excited to be part of the Halloween night animation domination, along with this like Simpsons like Treehouse of Horrors. Bob's always has one. It'll just be nice to see them join that group.
And it's great because seeing that episode is already completed, we got a clip from that. The Lumber Zombie clip.
The Lumber Zombies.
Yeah, and I thought it was hilarious.
Well, it's Will Forte. He's your dude.
Yeah, just hearing Will Forte just tell the story.
I just loved how he talked about his family watching the show. And he's like, they have such wonderful things to say about all the other characters except mine, of course. They don't really like Wolf. They don't like me at all.
It looks like for the premiere there, it takes place like on an open mic night. So I guess apparently the dentist is going to be played by Wyatt Cenac. I know him from The Daily Show.
Oh,
And I
okay.
guess he had his own show as well. And the Molyneux, one of the Molyneux sisters says that it was the entire episode is reminiscent of Little Shop of Horrors. So got that kind of vibe going for it. So I dug that. I dug that.
I think the only person cast-wise who was not present, who's a big part of it, was Moon. Moon wasn't there, but
Yeah, she had other obligations. Her and Megan Mullally weren't there either.
yeah.
Another big thing that was touched on, and once it was explained, I kind of agree with it, is Lauren and Wendy, I believe it was, confirmed and explained why there will be no crossovers between Bob's, Great North, Central Park, Duncanville. Yeah, I wouldn't see that happening, but at least with the three main shows, there will never be a crossover. And how did they explain that?
The way that like Lauren kind of explained it was that he said having them join together, he's like seems a little bit hokey at first because it's just like, well, why are they here?
Mm-hmm.
And like two, he said it just seems like it takes away from them being real because he's like, as viewers, we create these narratives and these stories and these like rules about how they interact and do things in episodes. And he's like, it would be like two huge things coming together. He's like, it just brings it, instead of it being its own reality, it makes us form our own reality of it. And he's like, and it takes away from it. It's just not, it makes it a show. He's like, instead of it being like its own world, it gets grounded as a show again. And he's like, that's just something we're not into doing.
And the more I think about it, I don't know how a crossover would work. I don't see the Belchers and their family dynamic making a long drive to, say, New York or flying to Alaska. It just doesn't make sense to me how that would even happen. And I don't see the Wolf or the Tobin family coming to New York, or I don't see them going to Seymour's Bay. So, I mean, when you think about it like that and the way they explain it, it makes complete sense that there would never be a crossover.
Mm-hmm. And if, of course, you disagree with them and us, you are more than welcome to leave us comments and tell us why that needs to be different. We love to hear it. And I mean, it is a dream, of course, for crossovers to exist, but that's where Tina's fan fiction comes in. And you can always write your own fan fiction.
And who knows, there may be a segment in one of our episodes where we cut together audio and have Bob and Beef have a conversation or something. I don't know.
We'll have good old Simon animate it for us.
One thing
like
that
his Archer crossover.
The one thing that I really liked that the Molyneux sisters touched on, and Lauren did as well, is that they want to make this show as authentic Alaskan as possible.
Yeah.
They already have Alaskan native actors.
Yeah, Delmer and a few of the other townspeople are all from Alaska.
Or the actors who played them. But they also plan on bringing in writers and consultants so they can authentically tell the stories. And the way they explain it is they want to do that, obviously, for representation because it matters, but also because they didn't feel like they could properly tell those stories, nor were they in a position to tell those stories. So I really like that they are self-aware enough to know that and open enough to bring in people who can.
And I mean, you could see that love.
And it only makes sense because they've done this in Bob's, and clearly diversity and representation matters there. And it would only make sense that they brought it over to this show as well. And I mean, Lauren, obviously he's a producer on the show, and he kind of brings that sense of, yeah, we've done it over here. It only makes sense that he would not force it on them there, but the Molyneux sisters were on board from the get-go of doing that. They wanted to do it in season 1, but the pandemic and everything kind of shut that down, so they're definitely doing that in seasons. I don't think they're doing season 2 just yet, but they're definitely making it a priority for season 3.
And I know it was really interesting to hear, too, how when they talked about that and why it was important, it became very reminiscent, just like listening in the back of my head, like Joel Moser talking about God.
Another thing that they had mentioned is the importance of music. Wendy and Lizzie, of course, coming from Bob's, they had already done so much music on that show as well. And from the get-go, they knew they wanted to incorporate that into the Great North. And Lauren, of course, sang their praises, saying that they were great, not just writers, but songwriters as well. So there was never any doubt that they were going to bring music into it. And of course, with Alanis Morissette on your cast, you're going to have music. It only makes sense.
I agree with that 100%. No, I actually really enjoyed that Alanis was part of this. And that she actually got to share a lot about like having like kids and like doing all the roles that she's done in the past, like playing God Dogma and stuff like that. Just what it's like to be this imaginary, this huge aurora borealis of Alanis Morissette who gives advice to Judy. And it's just kind of this cool construct that she gets to play again, this person that's just there to offer advice and be kind of humanized.
Yeah. And one thing that they teased for season 2, other than the Halloween episode and the season premiere, is they gave us a giant list of names for guest stars that will be coming up for season 2. And we tried to write them all down, folks. There was a lot of names. So instead of us trying to name all the names and missing anything, let's just hear directly from the Molyneux sisters exactly who's going to be on season 2. Take it away.
Martha Kelly, Aloysius Hitch, David Herman, Ray DeWild, Tim Jennings, Tim Bagley, Reggie Watts, Kelvin Yu, Brooke Dillman, Julio Torres, Michelle Badillo, Wyatt Cenac, Robin Thede, Charlie Kelly, Margaret Cho, Ariel Tweedo, Jesus, Paul F. Tompkins, Ziwe Fumido, Danielle Gaither, Lizzie, you go.
Hattie Harrison, John Gemberling, Rob Delaney, Mindy Sterling, Ron Funches, Sean Clements, Patty Lupone, Ken Marino, Drew Drogi, I can't believe I didn't mess that one up, it's hard, Tiffany Smith, Chris Garcia, Guy Fieri, Kevin Avery, Jamie Moyer, Ashley Nicole Black, Kritzia Bajos, the return of J.K. Simmons, Andy Daly, Gabe Delahaye, Nicole Byer, Lisa Rinna, Sarah Baker, Mark Prosh, we already said John Gemberling. Here we go. We'll say him again. Keiko Agena, Adam Godley, Jenny Yang, Lennon Parnham, Karen Chi, Missy Pyle, Gary Cole, Judith Shelton, Timothy Oliphant, Ray DeWild, Pam Greer, Andrea Savage, Lindsay Stoddart, and Tuck Watkins. That is a lot of people for season 2.
Kudos to them. But yeah, there you go, folks. If you got an hour, check it out. But I think we've waxed poetic long enough.
Oh yeah.
JB, you got anything else you want to add before we jump out of here?
No, this was a solid panel. Good showing for first time. We hope, of course, to see them in person next year.
Absolutely. So from the Great North to Wonder Wharf, I am Mike.
And I am JB.